Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had some yummy food and got to spend some time with your family. Play in the snow. Um, Ridiculous. The Easter quarantine blizzard of 2020 is one you will remember for the rest of your life. Um, I almost thought we were going to get a snow day today. 2 hours late. Be weird. But anyways, so your voting from last week was so not close. All four of them were beatdowns. So just let me tell you what they were real quick. Um, the Light My Fire by The Doors versus Your Song by Elton John, and Your Song won that one big. California Dreamin' versus For What It's Worth. California Dreamin' won that one big. And then the newer stuff is Dynamite versus Gangnam Style. You could probably guess what won that one. Dynamite will be moving on. And then Old Town Road lost big time to Bad Day. So that's moving on. So today we start the second half of the bracket. And I'm looking at the songs for today, and these are huge songs by huge artists. No one-hit wonders here. These are just big names. The four artists you're hearing today are U2, the Eagles, the Rolling Stones, and Bob Dylan. That is quite the list of iconic musicians. So the first little matchup here is U2. I still haven't found what I'm looking for is their song. Not a huge backstory here. The message of the song is kind of summed up in the title. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. You'll hear him say, I saw this, I did this, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. There's still something missing. So not a huge backstory there, but U2 is one of, if you look at ticket sales, record sales, money made, all of that stuff, U2 is one of the most successful groups of the past 30 years worldwide. Just decade after decade, they just keep being big. Bono, the lead singer, very charismatic guy, very well known for his charity work, and yeah, very well known for his Super Bowl halftime show, and all of those things. And so when you watch this live performance of this song today, I encourage you to skip the first minute and a half because it's super boring. It's just him talking and it's kind of awkward. And then about minute 45 in, he starts the song, and it's one of those huge stadium concerts. I think it's in Italy, where he'll step back from the microphone a couple times and the crowd just screams the melody out, and it's so cool. I just can't imagine being a musician, writing a song, performing it, and having thousands of people singing it back to you. That must just be such a cool experience. So that's that one, and that is going against the Eagles' Hotel California. And the band, the Eagles, they say that Hotel California is a metaphor, but some people have said that it's a metaphor for some weird, crazy stuff. The band does not say that. The band says the song is about materialism and excess. And Don Henley, one of the band members, said in an interview once, he said that it's really about the excesses of American culture and of certain girls we knew. But it was also about the uneasy balance between making art and making money. So that kind of battle there. And then later that month, he said in a different interview with 60 Minutes, he said, everyone wants to know what this song means. He said, I know it's so boring, but it's a song about the dark underbelly of the American dream and about excess in America. So that's basically what they're singing about. Hotel California is one of those kind of like Stairway to Heaven, where every time they come up with a list of top guitar solos of all time, Hotel California is usually in that top 10 also. You're listening to a live performance today, so that guitar solo will be different than the recording. And it's interesting, the first time that you see singing in this video, it's the drummer, and that's just something you don't really see very much of today. But the drummer is kind of leading out with the vocals, and so it's just it's unusual and it's really cool. So that's that one. Good luck voting on those. And then I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. So in the little backstory here, in 1965, the Rolling Stones performed a concert, for a small one, for like 3,000 people in a stadium in Florida. And there was about 200 young folk that got into this big altercation with the police there. And they got 4 songs into their concert and they had to shut it down. Just chaos ensued, and it was nasty. And that night, someone in the band named Keith Richards said he woke up in his hotel room with this guitar riff and lyric, "Can't Get No Satisfaction," in his head. And he recorded it on a little tape deck there that night and went back to sleep, brought it back to his band that week, and it says that the tape contained his guitar riff followed by sounds of him snoring. Good times. Then 2 decades later, 20 years later, Mick Jagger, the lead singer of Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, admitted that Satisfaction was, quote, "my view of the world and my frustration with everything, a litany of disgust with America and its advertising syndrome." A little similarities with California, Hotel California there. I put 2 live versions of this for you to watch. The first one is from the 60s, when they were first on the Ed Sullivan Show, and the second one is recently, and yeah, it's just, you have to experience old Rolling Stones and then recent Rolling Stones, because it's fun to watch. This is an opinion statement, so you can disagree with me, but when I watched the old one from the 60s, Mick Jagger, I don't know, it just seems kind of awkward, but it works. I mean, it must have been pretty noteworthy at the time. I'm sure it was different than what people had seen and heard, but when you watch the new kind of performance of the song, it's chaos, just people everywhere, and they're flying flags and they're screaming, and and Mick Jagger, I don't know how old he is in this video, but he's old, and he's just like constantly running and just sweating, and it's very, very rock and roll, very, very cool performance. You don't have to watch all of those. The second one is 10 minutes long, but if you just skip to halfway through and watch a minute of it, you'll get the gist of it. It's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch them perform. And the last one is Bob Dylan's "Blowin' in the Wind." I hope that you know this, because I think most of you have sung this with me before. But when Bob Dylan was 20, he debuted this song in front of an audience. And he said this beforehand. He said, "This here ain't no protest song or anything like that, because I don't write no protest songs." Really? And Rolling Stone magazine says that this is the most famous protest song ever written. So whether that was his original intent or not, that's kind of what it became. How many times must a man turn his head pretending he just doesn't see? All those types of rhetorical questions. And I just love how the Rolling Stone magazine sums this up. It says, it probably remains Bob Dylan's most covered song, an all-purpose progressive anthem suggesting that things must and will change. And he is oftentimes in this song addressing what he saw as humans' biggest flaw, which he thought at the time was indifference. And this is another one of his quotes. He said, "Some of the biggest criminals are those that turn their heads away when they see wrong. How many times must a man turn his head pretending he just doesn't see?" And so Bob Dylan is one of those voices that you know who is singing right away. To be honest with you, I never used to like Bob Dylan. I liked a couple of his songs, but I just couldn't listen to him sing. And then I took a class for my master's about the history of rock music, and I did a big thing on Bob Dylan, listened to a lot of his music, learned about, and I fell in love with it. It's just an acquired taste, I think, and I absolutely love Bob Dylan. and listening to him sing. It's very unique. There's nothing, and there's very little about his singing that I would enforce in the choir classroom. Just that kind of style to it, but I don't know. There's just something about it. So there's also 2 performances of this one on there. There's one of him in the 60s, and then there's also a trio in the 60s called Peter, Paul, and Mary that really had an enormous hit with this song by covering it. Yeah, and Bob Dylan is just arguably one of the, if not the greatest lyricist in pop music history. Just his lyrics are so crazy, so awesome. So those are those songs. Before we go on, the word of the day. I think that there's probably some people, if history isn't indicated, that just kind of skip ahead on these videos to figure out what the word of the day is. So I'm going to hold this up. This word that I'm holding up is not the word of the day. I'm just going to see if anyone just sees me. This says monkey. I don't know if that's backwards to you. This is not the word of the day. I'm just wondering if anyone's just going to fast forward to this, see this, and think, oh, now I don't have to watch the rest of it. The word of the day is going to be ham, because I ate a lot of it today, because it's Easter. H-A-M is the word of the day, not monkey. The word of the day is ham. Sneaky. And then the songs that you're going to listen to today from your generation are Lose Yourself in the Music, the Mom, M&M's, Mom Spaghetti, Lose Yourself, versus How You Remind Me by Nickelback. That's a weird little battle. And then Maroon 5, Moves Like Jagger. You're going to see Moves Like Jagger when you watch the Rolling Stones perform, because that's Mick Jagger, who that song is about. And then, Smash Mouth's All Star, Hey Now. So, again, we're on the second half of the bracket here, closing into the second round. The second round's going to cruise quickly because we've already heard all the songs. So, yeah, hope you're doing well. Please reach out. Let me know if you need anything, or if we just, need to Zoom just to catch up or something like that. But have a great day. Love ya.